We're here. Frazier Friday. Back in the Todd Father house.
Welcome back.
Yeah, I like your shirt.
Thanks, man. Yeah, kind of
Festive for today.
represents a little bit of hopefully what's to come and a nice WBC championship.
Exactly. For those listening on the pod, Todd Father wearing a Team USA shirt from his Olympic appearance.
And
That's how you
Olympic
say
start.
USA in
Oh, there we go.
Japanese.
Yeah, they gave these to us at in the Olympics, so
That's
still
cool.
fits.
Fits
which is
nice.
good. Yeah.
I actually think it overfits. Like you got a little room to spare if you want.
Oh, Kratz, you hear that?
See? That's how you butter
Wee,
them up
you on
before
that-
you start.
You on that new cellular level? I see you. I see you, Todd.
Oh,
Wee.
watch out now. Watch out.
All right, well, let's see if the brain fits the body. Let's charge.
That hurts.
Charging the mound.
All right, so slice and dice. I mean, you're kind of our prognosticator here over the past few years.
Yeah.
We've got power rankings, super duper early ones. CBS put these out about a week ago, but we've been busy. And today we're a little less busy, so we're ready. Where the league stands with most free agency dust settled. Now, keep in mind there are a few moves that have been made since this happened. So, Framber Valdez affecting the Tigers' position on here. Let's keep that in mind when you're scrutinizing their list. But have fun with it. We can start with the tippy top 10. I'll just read it out and then get your thoughts, okay?
Go
Want to do it
ahead.
that way?
Go ahead.
Dodgers 1, Brewers 2, Blue Jays 3, Cubs 4, Yankees 5, Braves 6, Mariners 7, Red Sox 8th, the Mets check in at 9th, another NL East team, the Phillies at 10. How did they do?
I think they missed one key team on here. I got to be honest with you, and you guys know I've been on this team since day one, criticizing them. Where's the Orioles at?
Oh,
Where are my? Oh, did I just say my?
you're on the train now?
I'm
Did you just hop on the train?
I'm on the train.
Wow.
I'm on the train. I mean, first when you pick up one of the most prolific hitters in baseball, and Pete Alonso, you can't go wrong with that. And I felt like they got him on a nice, easy deal. He probably could have made a little bit more money. Blah, blah, blah. We know the whole story. Undercover pickup, Shane Baz. I got to be honest with you. I love Shane Baz. I think he needed a little change of scenery. Get in a little colder air. He is funny as all heck. I room with him in the Olympics. He's absolutely out of this world. He's pumping weights left and right. Listen, Zach Eflin, I got to be honest. The dude can play. He can play. He's been there before. Is he going to wow you right now? Probably not, but another effective starter. He's going to give you, long relief and long times there. And the one I really like too is Ryan Helsley, another guy that they can punch in pretty much anywhere in that bullpen and do whatever you want with him. So there's a couple other guys. I mean, listen, Leody Tavares is okay. Andrew Kittenridge, Taylor Ward from the Angels. I think they should be. I don't think top 5, but I think they should be in the top 10.
Okay. Well, before Kratz goes, who are you knocking out of the top 10 if you're going to put the Orioles in there?
I mean, listen, I love them. I love them to death. But, the Yankees, I'll be honest, the Yankees, they just picked up guys that they had before. I mean, I'm a Yankee guy. I'm not saying this is all about free agency power rankings. I would take them off the top 10 list.
Wow.
They didn't pick up that big name that was out there. They brought back 2 guys that, were on the squad, and Trent Grisham and Cody Bellinger. They made some moves, but they didn't wow you. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm just calling a spade a spade. I would put them in the middle of the pack.
I don't even know what to say. It's at Todd Father.
And look, Kratzy, look.
X.
I'm here. I'm here, baby.
Hey,
I'm here.
Hey.
I'm just being.
Hey.
I'm being honest. That's all.
What this show's all about.
I still think they're a great team. I'm going to root for them hit through hell or high water, but I was waiting for another big splash. That's all.
So right now you have them as the 11th team in the league power rankings, not free agency jobs that they've done. This is power rankings to start the season. They're the 11th.
My bad.
Oh, here we go.
I was talking about free agency.
No.
I misconstrued all this.
No.
Oh, that's
Todd's throwing his notes
my
out.
bad.
Okay, wait, hold up, because this show's not live, I think, so you can come back to us. Let's just restart. We'll start again.
Yeah, right.
Oh wait, we are live.
No, I'm going by free agent pickups, and that's a big mistake on my part. But I still think the Orioles should be in there. Let me see the team that I would take off. Oh, man. I would take off. I mean, Brewers are number 2.
I think we need to get into that after you
Wow.
kick a team out.
Oh, man. I would kick off. I would kick out. Oh, my goodness gracious. This changes everything. I'd take the Braves out. I would take the Braves.
I would spot I think you're spot on with that. I think the Braves can be I think the Braves can be second or third best team in the league for sure. There's a lot of can be though. There's a lot of can be if this does. It was so unlucky that the Braves last year said, okay, 5, 6 of our starters all got hurt. Like that is ridiculous. That's not going to happen again. All 5 or 6 of those starters aren't going to have Cy Young years though either. They upgraded in their bullpen with Robert Suarez. They brought back Iglesias, who was unbelievable. He was great at the end of the season. But 6th, I don't think they're 6th. To me, I think the Mets and Phillies are above them right now, and they have to prove it. I still think they're a playoff team. But really, the biggest on this list is the Brewers. Like, I'm not sure what CBS was doing with this one, how they had them up there. They had the most wins in the National League. I get that. They got rid of pieces and added what did they add again? I mean, they added did they get Nolan McLean from the Mets for Freddie Peralta? No. Mm-hmm. They got Brandon Sproat, who could be great. Obviously, I'm not kicking the Brewers out of the top 10 because of what they've done and because of my love for the Brewers. I will not kick them out of the top 10. The Braves are kicked out of the top 10. And if we could put the list up one more time, I had a little bit of a switcheroo. I think the Mariners, whatever order it is, I think the Mariners are better than the Yankees currently. I think how they come into the season, they're better than the Yankees. I think the Cubs they're a little bit inflated on this list. Are they the second best National League team because I kicked the Brewers out? No, I think that falls to the Phillies or Mets still until the Cubs prove that they can have a great season. Is Alex Bregman taking over for what Kyle Tucker did at the beginning of the season last year? Like, to me, I think there's a pecking order in the National League, and I still think it runs through the National League East after you have the Dodgers. So I think the Mariners are ahead of the Yankees. I think the Mariners are the second best team. And I think maybe there's a world, and I don't know who I'd kick out, where the Tigers should be top 10 just because they have a power-packed lineup or power-packed rotation. They didn't add to their lineup, and I know this list came out before Framber Valdez was signed, but so that's where I would change. But if you told me the Tigers are 11, I'd be cool with that too.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
I like a lot of what you said. Do you want to see the bottom 10?
Yes, please. Because I think there's some wrong ones on the bottom 10.
We're going from worst to not as bad. 30 Rockies, 29 Nationals, White Sox at 28, Angels 27, Twins check in at 26. We put the Cardinals, or CBS did, at 25. Pirates go to 24, Marlins 23, Rays in Florida next to them 22, and the A's at 21.
I'm trying to think of who should be down there that's not there right now.
Kratz thinks he's a smart aleck and has a name for
What do you got, Kratzy?
I don't think the Pirates should be in there. I think the Pirates have done enough to improve their team, and they still have Paul Skeens. Like, the record or the stat that if the Pirates had scored 3 or more runs in every one of Paul Skeens' starts, he'd be 43-1. Like, this team's offense has improved. Has their defense declined? I don't know. That's hard to say. Maybe there's going to be a drop off there, but with Paul Skeens at the top, I think anything is possible. I don't think the Pirates are in that bottom 10. I also don't think the A's of Sacramento, the ATHs, are in the bottom 10. I think did they get rid of Mason Miller? Absolutely. JP Sears was a quality starter for them. I know his ERA wasn't great. I just think they started to acclimate to playing in a AAA park and how they can use that to their advantage the last 2 months of the season. I think I think it goes into this season. I think some of their guys have there's the whole contract boost. You get a contract, and all of a sudden you're not sleeping at night like, oh man, if I'm going to get sent down to AAA. Wait a minute, I'm already playing in a AAA park. Wait, it's just some of their guys are now solidified in their roles, and I don't think they're a top or bottom 10 team.
Well, there's one team I think that should be in there. I would say Tampa Bay has a chance of being in. They are in there.
No, they are in there.
I'm struggling today. I think the Pirates should be there. Honestly, I mean, listen, what have they done? They have Paul Skeens, yeah, and they still can't find ways to win. Yeah, did they get a couple guys? Of course they did, but you can't tell me that they're a top 20 team right now. I mean, listen, they're on the bottom of the list in the NL Central each year. They can't find a way to dig out of there, and they hurt themselves at the end of the day. So they didn't really get that much big of names, and it's just going to be the Pirates of old.
Make Kratz do what he's supposed to do, which is if he is going to defend a team and say the Pirates deserve to be 20 or better, I'm fine with that. But you know the game. If you think the A's and the Pirates do not belong on the bottom 10 list that is put together by CBS, you must help them replace those two teams. There needs to be a bottom 10. It's not easy. Trust me, I went through the exercise.
It's hard.
Give me a sec here. Hang on.
I'm telling you, it's not going to be easy. We can literally go through the teams. It doesn't even take that long, and you're going to struggle to find teams that replace them.
I'm looking through my.
Kansas
you can
City,
go through it, but I'm also looking through.
But I think the exercise is fun to do it this way. Okay, so you're not putting the Braves in there, right? They were borderline in the top 10. The Diamondbacks, are you putting them in the bottom 10? I'm not. Cubs, Red Sox, Orioles, we're good. They're not touching that list. White Sox are already in it. I'm not putting the Reds in there. I'm not putting the Guardians in there. Not a bottom 10. Rockies are in there already. Not putting the Tigers, not the Astros. For me, not the Royals. Angels are already in there. Dodgers, obviously. I'm just going down.
Can I put the Rockies in twice? Can I put the Rockies in twice? They're that
Marlins
bad.
are in there already. Brewers are not going in there. Twins are in there already. Mets and Yankees and Phillies are not going in there. Pirates are in there already. We're almost done with the list of teams. Padres are not going in there. I don't think the Giants should be in there. Mariners are obviously not in there. Cardinals are already in there. Rays are already in there. I'm not putting the Rangers in there or the Blue Jays, and the Nats are already in there. It is a perfect bottom 10.
I think they got it right.
It is perfect. They nailed it. It is very difficult to agree.
I mean, Kratzy, to your point, you can move a couple teams.
That's fine.
To put the Pirates at 22 behind the Athletics, that kind of deal. You can do that kind of thing, but I don't. I guess, I don't see anybody else going in.
No. Sunny Days in the chat said Diamondbacks are definitely bottom 10. I mean, that's fine. I respect opinions, but I don't agree. I think that they could get close to that, but I don't agree that they're bottom 10.
Okay, that's fair. I mean, I can definitely, I can see the Rangers. I can see the Rangers maybe sliding in there unless they completely change the culture and unless Nimmo is that shot in the arm for the offense. I think, there's a possibility there, but that rotation was ridiculous. So yeah, you're right. I would say I can't replace them, so I can't take any of them out.
Boom. There you go. Fun exercise. Now let's get to Ken. FT Senior Insider Ken Rosenthal with us, and he's a boxing reporter this week. That's what it felt like with Tarik Skubal and the Players Association against the Tigers in Major League Baseball. And the result is Skubal and his Cy Young Awards physically win. Ken, you wrote this morning about the heavyweight fight. Can you enlighten us with more?
Yes, and basically what I wrote is that by overreaching with what they offered, the Tigers and Major League Baseball's labor relations department set themselves up to fail. And that was my opinion. It's an opinion. It's not a fact, obviously, but it seems to me that you had to offer Tarik Skubal more than $19 million. You had to do that before. When you were making your initial offers, they were only slightly above David Price's record $19.75 million in the initial offers. And then in the exchange, when you offer $19 million, Skubal comes back with $32 million. If they had been higher, in my opinion, their position would have been more defensible. You had to get well above Price 11 years after he sets that record. And when you didn't do that, granted, the three-person arbitration panel, you never know how they're going to rule exactly, but it seemed to me that Skubal, because he had the right as a 5+ player to compare himself to all players, not just those in his service class, well, then you're bringing in free agent salaries, you're bringing in Blake Snell and his $31 million, $38 million deal, however you want to look at it, before or after deferrals. And he had a really strong case at that point. So it seemed to me that, again, MLB with the Tigers, and MLB has a heavy influence in this process, they sought to make their point, and their point was not going to carry the day, did not carry the day, as it turned out.
All right, Ken, you're bringing in opinions, so here's my opinion. Tell me if I'm wrong or not. Major League Baseball was okay losing this because of how low of a number they went. They don't like the arbitration process. Was this almost like a, oh man, we totally lost moment? Oh, next CBA, we're going to go ahead and nix it.
Actually, Erik, I agree with you that they're not crushed by this in any sense of the word, but not for the reason that you just described, that it's going to be eliminated in the next CBA. I'm sure they would want to do that with the salary cap coming in and the arbitration system either going away or changing dramatically. But the reason why I don't believe they are that upset is because Skubal was a rare guy, 5+ player, right? 1 year away from free agency and coming off back-to-back Cy Young awards. How often are we going to see that going forward? We may see it with Paul Skeens, and that would be the next test case, but you're not going to see it all that often. There have only been, I believe, 12 players in history who won back-to-back Cy Young awards, and none before Skubal as a 5+ player. So I'm sure they would rather have won than lost, of course, but are they devastated? No. At the same time, to me, and I wrote these words, it's a major blow because you lost, and you lost in a very high-profile case, and you lost, again, in my opinion, because they just didn't go far enough with what they were offering before and after the exchange date.
With all these points that
During
you
the
bring up,
exchange date.
oh, there you go. With all the points that you brought up, and I know Kratzy's talking about the CBA and everything else, like, for me, I'm like, this is a huge, huge win for the players. Expressing arbitration is so hard to win these things, and to see that how big a difference it was from 32 to 19. I think of a guy like Paul Skeens probably sitting back like, oh baby, this is really good. And some upcoming players, like, this is a huge number for players. I just don't understand. I think it's a lot deeper, and I think the brass in Major League Baseball, I think that this hurts them big time. I mean, do you see it that way, or you're just like, it's a big blow, but it's really not? But I feel like it's a huge win for the players.
Todd, I see it from both perspectives I just described. A huge blow in the sense that you lost a high-profile case, not a huge blow in terms of what it will mean going forward because it was such a specific profile that Skubal filled. Now, at the same time, looking at it from the reverse side, the player's side, as you just described, yes, it's a huge win. This is a record for an arbitration-eligible player. Juan Soto had that record at 31 million. Skubal now surpasses it at 32 million. And the other thing it did, and this could help in the future, especially with 3 to 4 year players who are at arbitration and have special accomplishments like Skeens, it raised the bar for pitchers. It finally brought the pitchers, at least the elite ones, the very elite ones, up to the level of position players. And one of the problems in arbitration over the years that I know has frustrated the player side is that they've been unable to advance pitchers' salaries in that process as rapidly as position players. So yes, this does help correct that. But again, I will say it's a very specific case. It's a guy who is 5+, and it's a guy with back-to-back Cy Youngs. You just don't see that very often.
Now let's go to the Tigers a little bit more here. Valdez gets picked up, 3 years, $115 million. Skubal got his money. How do you see this Tigers team now moving forward? I feel like, in those kind of meetings in the room, they're going to bash you all the way through. You think Tarik Skubal is going to be that guy who's like, forget this. I'm going to play my game, not worry about anything else because of the baloney that they went through? Or do you see this Tigers team making a push for the playoffs and getting back in and making some damage again?
Well, Tarik Skubal was most likely going to go to be a free agent anyway, and most likely is going to try to win his third straight Cy Young Award, no matter what they said in the room. That's his makeup. That's all players' makeups. They want to be the best they can be, and they're not going to listen to some attorneys. This was outside counsel arguing the case for the Tigers, not the Tigers themselves. They're not going to worry and be hurt by anything, especially in Skubal's case. He won. So there's no reason for him to carry a grudge. But certainly it will only, I'm sure, add to his motivation. And certainly also the team now, as I wrote the day before, they do not intend to trade Tarik Skubal. They have not intended that the entire offseason. Their intention is to win. And in speaking to a person who was briefed on their plans, he repeated that to me. He said, we are trying to win. So you have these two pitchers, two co-aces now. Obviously, Skubal is the ace of aces, but Valdez is pretty good himself and has been an ace on a World Series team. Obviously, they've got a nice 1-2 punch. And I wrote, in addition to hearing from that person who had knowledge of the Tigers' thought process, it makes no logical sense to trade Skubal. You're going to do that now, and your fans are going to revolt. Now, yes, you're only going to get a draft pick back for him in return if you carry him through the season and then, of course, offer him a qualifying offer. But that's the chance you take trying to win. And people have said, well, they can still trade him at the deadline. I don't expect the Tigers to be out of contention in the AL Central at any stage of this season.
Based on reading your article from today, it seems like you talked to people who were in the room or briefed on what happened in the room. Did you get any inkling or any like actual words that were said in the case for Major League Baseball against Tarik Skubal? Because, I mean, it was a joke kind of going around on Twitter, like, what could they say? What would be that, like, he threw the ball between his legs to try to make an out in the playoffs? Like, I don't know what they could have said.
I saw some of those tweets myself, Eric, and they were very clever. My understanding, without knowing specifically what was said, is that they weren't attacking Skubal. What they were pointing out is that he is more comparable to, in particular, Jacob deGrom. Jacob deGrom had the previous highest raise in arbitration. It was, I believe, 9.4 million. I might be wrong about that, but in that range. And they were saying, well, if deGrom got that raise, then Skubal should only get a similar raise. His would have been, with $19 million salary, $8.85 million. So that was the argument, not so much Tarik Skubal's no good. I don't know that you can make that case. But even the argument invoking deGrom was questionable because deGrom was a 4+ player at the time he got that record raise, not a 5+. And again, a 5+ player, you can compare yourself to anyone. So it seems to me this was not an attack on Tarik Skubal. And I know hearings can get like that. AJ's talked about his own hearing, and players have always said, you hear things in there you never want to hear about yourself. But maybe they pointed out a few things. I can't imagine what they were, but really it was a case of precedent for them, the league and the Tigers, and it was a case of comparable pitchers, deGrom being one, Price being another.
And there was a lot of confusion about how all of this works. I mean, I saw people that know the game pretty well tweeting how you can't compare Skubal to free agents. And it's like, no, you actually can, based on special accomplishments, the 5+, the whole deal. And now the aftermath from some people is, oh, well, Skubal's his own case and Skeens, but everyone else will still be in the same realm. And it's like, no, I disagree on that one, because you can compare arbitration to arbitration. And now you have Skubal there. So even if you're a few notches below in the future, there's a big gap between Price's 19 and Skubal's 32. So my question for you is, do you think that MLB will try and battle this in the next CBA? This clearly seems like something that MLB is against and the players are for, because you go to a panel and you tell a narrative versus a number, which I believe was proposed in the last CBA. Maury Brown, who's been on the show before and it does a nice job for Forbes, said he thinks this will further spur them to make this a big point in the CBA. Not the top, but obviously one of their big points to get rid of this or to at least tweak it.
It has always been a point for them. And I believe I have a line in the column saying they can go after the system as they've done in the past. I don't expect that to be any different. I expect them, maybe as Maury said, to turn it up. But if you're going to a salary cap, which is obviously what they're going to propose or at least try to get involved with, then you're not going to have arbitration in any way, this shape or form, the same as it is now anyway. So yes, they will try. And yes, you're right, Scott, that a future 5+ player can compare himself to Skubal, but he's not going to be Skubal unless he Skeens. That's the difference. And will it drag up those players? Perhaps. I just don't know that that's going to happen. But in terms of the owners not liking the process, they've never liked the process. So I expect fully that they're going to at least try to make, if not major changes to the process through salary cap, somewhat tweak it if they can.
Do you think each individual team, and this is another one of my stupid theories, but maybe it could stick because we don't want players. The game is about the players, and we don't want players against the teams. And clearly, the teams manipulate exactly what they think the teams should pay the players. Will we ever see a world where it's going to be Major League Baseball versus the Players Association for Tarik Skubal, for Paul Skeens, and no more of this Pirates versus Paul Skeens?
Erik, it's actually a fair question. And it's fair because MLB is involved on the owner's side, the club side, and the union is involved with recommendations as well on the player side. So to some extent, it already is that. Now, I guess what you're suggesting is taking the player out of the room entirely and going about it that way, just having it be MLB versus the union. I just don't know if the union would like that. I would imagine they want the players hearing this stuff and want them getting fired up when they hear these kinds of things, because it shows in some respects how important it is to have the union and the agents doing their work that they do in arbitration. So to a very real extent, it is exactly what you said right now. I mentioned that the Tigers did not argue this case against Skubal. They hired outside attorneys to do that. So while Scott Boras and people from the union were arguing the case for Skubal, the union is very much involved, and maybe not to the same extent as the ownership arm, the labor relations department. I'm not quite sure about that, but it is kind of union versus MLB already, with the subset of the player versus the team.
With all these free agent signings going on, there's still a couple guys out there. Zach Gallen, Bassett, Scherzer. Gallen's a guy that, for me, it's really intricate, but I feel like he still has a couple more good years ahead of him. Have you heard of any talks or any inklings to where he might get picked up before spring training starts here soon?
Todd, there's been a lot of talk about the Cubs and Gallen really all off season. I don't know that it will get there. I don't know even the Orioles or the Padres or any of these other teams seeking starting pitchers will sign Zach Gallen to what likely will be a short-term deal with opt-outs and give up a draft pick in the process. So it seems to me, and I may be wrong about this, I'm just giving my thoughts on it. It seems to me the most obvious place for him to go is back to Arizona on a short-term deal with a 1-year opt-out so he can get back into free agency next year off a better year and without a draft pick attached. That would give him a better chance to do what he wants to do in the market. We've seen Scott Boras and with clients do this repeatedly. Gallen is represented by Boras. And if the Diamondbacks sign Gallen, of course, they do not lose a draft pick. So from that perspective, it just seems to me to line up. I guess the question for the Diamondbacks will be, do they have the money to do that? They've got a lot invested in some injured pitchers right now, but they've already got Merrill Kelly under contract. If you get Gallen back, if even for only 1 year, and then Corbin Burns comes back in midseason, you have an interesting group.
That's kind of a loss for the Diamondbacks. They don't get a pick for him signing somewhere else. So the Diamondbacks
they get Zach Gallen.
They do get Zach Gallen, but are they pushing in? I get it. A team that's been in on everybody. It's the end of the offseason. And I saw what you wrote about me on Twitter, that I'm a buffoon and that I hit below 209 and I'm a negative. Oh, that wasn't you, Ken. That was the rest of Twitter. But I said about the Pirates not actually being truly in. What were you hearing? Because some of those were from you. And so people are like, well, if Ken says it, then it must be true. And I am saying it's true, but how far of a level was it that the Pirates were in on some of these guys?
I'm not writing fiction, first of all. And I'm also not writing just what the Pirates tell me. To think that I understand fans think everything we do has an agenda and we're simply puppets on marionettes. That's not how it works. I'm not going to go any further. I'm not telling you where I get my information, but I am not the Pirates' public relations arm, obviously. So you ask how serious they've been. And this is the question we talked about, I believe, the other day on FT, but we'll get into it again here. It seems to me they're making offers that reflect a player's value. With Eugenio Suarez, they offered him about 15. He got about 15. The problem for the Pirates is that you can't be winning that way. Players don't want to go to Pittsburgh when they have better competitive teams or more competitive teams in the mix for them. Suarez did that with Cincinnati, playoff team last year, the team that he played with for 7 years. Now, in the case of Framber Valdez, they were in and they were aggressive, is my understanding. But at that AAV above 38 million, if I had known they were going to get 38 million from Framber Valdez, I probably would not have even put the Pirates in the aggressive category. I didn't know that at the time I reported it. I just knew that they were trying. So to win these free agent battles, they're going to have to outbid other teams. And if they're not willing to do that, and you can understand why they might not want to overpay players, okay, then go to the trade market and try to do it that way, which they have in getting Brandon Lau and Justinskin Garcia. I'm not pronouncing it right. It's the password, of course. They have made some interesting trades this offseason. So I don't know that they should be derided for trying. You could say they're not trying hard enough. And that's certainly a fair criticism because they have to do more to get these players. But they did sign Ryan O'Hearn, 2 years, $29 million, and they are still trying to get another hitter, whether it's through free agency or trade.
Last team I have to ask you about raises eyebrows for me when I see them in on possibly trading for Freddie Peralta and we're in on Framber Valdez is the Minnesota Twins. When their name gets put in there, I'm like, do they mean like twins of like two people who look alike that were born at the same time, twins? Like what's your reaction when you're hearing like that type of news from your sources?
I can't imagine. First of all, I did not hear the Twins on Valdez, so I can't take any credit for that or any knowledge of it even. That would shock me with where they are. Now, they're in an interesting place. Tom Pohlad has taken over. Derek Falvey has left. Tom Pohlad has said, we're going to be competitive this year. And people have laughed at him for saying, well, you say you're going to be competitive, but you're not spending any money. So from that perspective, might they have thrown their hat in the ring on Valdez? Sure. More likely, though, a Peralta trade would have been appealing to them because Peralta is making $8 million this year, which is severely below market for a pitcher of his caliber. Any team, small market teams as well as large market teams, could have been in the mix for Peralta and absorbed him into their payroll. So that would not surprise me at all that they were in on Freddie Peralta when they're claiming they want to be competitive. Valdez, maybe they were in, but like the Pirates, they were only going to go to a certain level.
There it is. Ken, thank you very much. Fascinating week for first week of February, I'll say. Enjoy the weekend. We'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. That's FT Senior Insider Ken Rosenthal. I mean, really, you don't expect to get an arbitration hearing like that. It was fun to follow. Fair Territory, part of the FT Network. Back with a new episode on Monday. Lots from yesterday that you should check out as well that had Alana and Ken. What's next?
Yeah, that's what he said.
That's what he said.
That's what he said.
That's what he said.
So this is part 2 on a series called Pham Graphs, as in Tommy Pham. There was an article out about Tommy Pham mentioning certain ways where Pirates batters had it a little rougher than others. And a lot of his points were pretty interesting, and I personally thought some of them were valid. Now, there's more. But wait, Todd Father, there's more. Tommy gets into it online, and I love when he's candid. So let's show you what we were talking about here. He replied that in addition to all of the points that he brought up last time, and there's a video you can look up on Foul Territory to get it, but just to give you an example, he talked about how they're all in all these close games, the closers come in and shut them down, and they did have more of those late and close situations against closers versus the mop-up man, all that, right? But he goes on Twitter and he says that the Pirates had a broken humidor that's not getting talked about. And then Warmonger on Twitter said, I hadn't heard that. And he goes, all season? And Tommy said, we know. And yes, Pittsburgh had a broken humidor that affected hitters negatively. I was told they bought a new one, so should be better next year, as in this coming season. This was, I think, in reply to Warmonger posting about teams hurt by the best fielding against them in 2025.
Mm-hmm.
And the team that was most hurt on that front was Pittsburgh. So there it is, fielding run value. Really, really nice number there, 31 against them. Mm-hmm. And I encourage you to read the article in The Athletic to learn more about it. But the part that the article didn't get to was what Tommy threw out here after it was posted. It was actually well after it was posted, and the discussion has continued. Tommy's active there. So what do you think about the broken humidor conspiracy theory?
The first time I've ever heard anything about it. Listen, Tommy Pham is an intricate person. I think you take what he says and you don't take it lightly, for one. At least that's what I do. I mean, from knowing him, from playing against him, he's a serious dude, but he also be funny in his own way. This seems to be ideal. I mean, it seems to be possible. I mean, look at that field running value. I mean, it's up there on him. So
do you believe the conspiracy theory about the humidor? And if that's true, the big question I know that Kratz is going to bring up is, you had it broken all season or most of the season?
I don't
you
know.
Didn't fix it?
Is that the Pirate way? Like, is that usually what happens? I wasn't long enough to see a lot of stuff there, but if a ball's not going to travel for me, I'm not going to be out. I want that damn humidor, you know what I'm saying? So if I'm a hitter, I'm like, oh, wow, what the heck? I mean, 13 feet is a good distance. You go from hitting a homer at, 325, and then you hit it at 313, 312. I don't know. I think baseball is the same game at the end of the day, but it is what it is. It's a dry atmosphere in Pittsburgh anyway, so they need all the help they can get over there.
Kratz, can you explain this?
The humidor used to just be in places like Colorado, places like Arizona. The fact that Major League Baseball mandated that every team get a humidor, I think they're still trying to figure it out. They're tweaking it so that each park plays similar. That's the reason that every team got humidors. Every team has the same, quote, baseballs. And if the fact that the humidor was broken, I don't necessarily blame the Pirates. You can see I'm a Pirate fan. I have my Pirate jersey there and everything. It's super neat of me. Look at me, Pirate fan, Pirate fan, Pirate fan. But I don't think it's the Pirates being cheap, because the humidor, from what I was told yesterday, I think that's when I first saw the article, Major League Baseball pays for these humidors. So is Major League Baseball coming in and checking the humidor every time? And if they are, then why did they not replace it? If they aren't, are teams manipulating their humidor a little bit? And like this whole fielding runs value, I've never seen this, like fielding runs against. I've never seen it because everybody plays the same teams. It's not like the Pirates were the most unlucky because other teams were making great plays against them. But the Reds were also there. So who do they both play? Can you show that list again, please, Jer, so I can see the list? Because I know the Reds were second. Pirates and the Reds both play the Brewers and the Cubs, who are really good defensively. And then you go down the list there. The Phillies were in the playoffs. The Padres are in the playoffs. The Red Sox were in the playoffs. That's top 10. So it's not necessarily winning or losing, but I think it's part of a case that Tommy's looking for a job. And anything that's dinged his numbers from being just a little bit below or quite a bit below his career numbers, he has a valid excuse. And the dude's smart. He is very well educated on what goes on in these games, and he should have a job by this time.
Agreed. I didn't even know about the humidor thing until we brought this up today.
You didn't know about it at all?
At all. I had no clue.
You never knew that there was a humidor? Like even back when it first became a thing in Colorado and then Arizona.
Maybe it just went way over my head. I had no clue that, the balls are being – I thought it was just for cigars.
You played with
okay.
You played with Kratz and he didn't tell you?
Who?
Kratz. You didn't tell him about the humidor?
Kratz,
I told him.
So
I told him, but he wasn't listening. He doesn't listen to me, Todd.
I was looking for that sizzler in Puerto Rico. That's We go win sizzler.
All right. Well, this is interesting. So I like Tommy just adding the conspiracy
Tommy's no
theories.
joke, man. He's no joke, bro.
I'm saying conspiracy theory. It's probably true. I don't think he would just make that up.
Totally.
He never does. He's very on top of everything.
Tommy's not gonna make something look like he's very much black and white. Tommy is black and white when he plays, when he's on your team, when he plays against you, when you're not even playing against him. Like, I saw him in Pittsburgh in April this year, and he introduced me to his mom. And he's like, my mom, biggest fan, but she's also the toughest on me. There's no like, oh, it's so great to be here. And she looks at me and she goes, you're right. Somebody needs to be tough on him. And I'm like, whoa, this is Pham coming in hot. Like, it's just – so I don't think he's making this up. He's not going to make this up. He's very direct. No. He'll say he didn't have a good season or he said he has a great season.
Yeah. All right, well, something to stew about. We have one more thing to talk about when it comes to the Pirates. I think Bubba Chandler is going to have a really good year. He's one of their super prospects who had a little slight dance in the bigs last year, but should be a part of the opening day rotation. Slight dance, and don't get me started on how the dance began with the whole
don't get me
bullpen
started
thing.
either.
I can't think about that anymore. Let's just show a clip from Bucco territory with the great Bubba Chandler.
In the third game, we played the Dodgers, and Dodgers a good team, and they got some guys on that team that I looked up to as a kid. I mean, Freddie Freeman, for example, being from Georgia, he played for Atlanta. Like, bro, I love Freddie. I got his jerseys, loved him, bro, and just very surreal pitching against them. But too, they also got a guy named Shohei Ohtani. Like, who doesn't want to throw against those guys? They're the best, and I kind of came into that outing, pumped up. I had 8 or 9 innings, scoreless, a lot of strikeouts, kind of pitching really well. And I came into the outing like, all right, this isn't going to be anything different. Like, who cares about the names on the back of their jerseys? Like, they're just dudes. Like, go out there and execute. And the first guy I faced is Miguel Rojas. I mean, dude's played forever in the big leagues. Like, great player.
Big league.
Get him out. And I'm like, all right, like, we're good. We're like, I got my feet wet, in this game. Like, we got Shohei coming up next. Let's blow his doors. Like, he can't hit me. Like, there's no chance this guy can hit me. He ended up hitting me pretty far, pretty hard. Whatever, who cares?
Happens.
And I think after that, ended up putting together a pretty good outing. Got Freddie Freeman out twice. Does he care? Not at all. Did I care? Oh, yeah. Was fired up about it.
Of course, got to take all those wins.
I was, I mean, he doesn't know my name, but I tell you one thing. I was
Trust me, he knows you.
I was
Trust
fired
me.
up.
Trust me, you're a big leaguer and you got him out twice. He know your name.
Hey. Hell yeah.
That's good stuff. I like that from Bubba Chandler. And yes, I'm sure all the comments are going to be filled with people talking about the car shot. He's driving or someone's driving. I can't tell.
It was a dark night.
Yeah.
That's how.
But he had his eyes on the prize, which was the road. Don't worry, folks.
That's how Matt Holliday does every one of his. Matt Holliday, if you watch Cardinals territory, not a way to go away from Bucco territory. Matt Holliday's, he's like this. He's got the same haircut as me, and he's like this in the car every time. He's like, I'm out here getting food. Like, they always eat. The Holliday kids, they always eat, and they're like, he's always right here with the interview. He's like, yep, bouncing around in the car. So Bubba Chandler's trying to do his best Matt Holliday.
There you go. Well, let's promo the show then, because our next guest is ready after that. Bucco territory for the full interview. And it's really cool to see Josh Harrison thriving on this show, too.
I like Josh.
He was built for media like this. Yeah. He's good people, and he's part of just about every episode. Bucco territory, latest episode with Bubba Chandler, part of the FT Network.
I need to get those headphones he's got there.
They're nice.
Nope.
My ears are getting warm.
It's Tigers manager AJ Hinch joining us on FT. Good to see you, AJ. And what a week for your team. Oh my gosh. First off, thanks for joining us, but I'll just get your description of the week in Tigers baseball. We'll start with Framber in a moment, but just what kind of week is this for you? First week of February is supposed to be kind of chill. Last week with the Pham, right?
A little bit. It hasn't been. I mean, that's what we've been busy. I just got to Lakeland today and ran into a bunch of our guys, and there's a little bit of energy around our team, and we're getting better. I mean, there are some things I can talk about, some things I can't, but I love this time of year when you feel like it was a productive offseason. You made some additions. You come in with a real chance to have a good team, and now I just want everybody to get here and get underway next week. After what Super Bowl weekend is always kind of that last hang time, whether you're already at spring training or home.
You're really good at measuring the pulse or taking the pulse of a team. Do you feel like that energy from the guys you talk to or the guys that you've seen is different now that the Tarik thing happened? And the rumors, they're just rumors about a free agent left-handed pitcher. I know he's not official yet, but do you feel like the pulse is, or the energy is different?
I think for this particular offseason, yes, obviously. There's been a lot of talk around our team. There's been a lot of talk about Tarik and his situation. And by the way, like when those situations come up, I think we need to remind everybody that the players earn the right to that process. Like I understand how volatile it can be, and sometimes I've never went through arbitration, but I know a lot of players who have, but that's part of growing up as a big leaguer, and only the select few really get to that powerful position to be able to go through it at that stage of their career. So, but it's not part of what we're doing in the clubhouse or what we're doing building a team or our banter or our texts or our conversations. The business side that separates itself out, but the energy around our team is because I think for last year was similar. This year, like there's an expectation to win, and there's an expectation to be better. And better is pretty good off of the last two seasons that we've been able to put together and experience postseason baseball. And you got guys that come back that want to be a part of it, like Glaber and Jack and Finney, and that makes me feel good as a manager. And we have some young prospects in their first big league camp. That's cool. And we're headlined by Tarik, who's put together two of the most historic seasons in our organization and across baseball. So there's a lot to like about what we're doing, and now we're at the bottom of the mountain, got to climb up again and see if we can win this division.
AJ, I know this is going to be difficult to answer, but you're a former player and you have reaped the benefits of one of, if not the best pitcher in baseball. Yeah, we can have the Skeen Skubal conversation. So from this past week with the arbitration hearing, do you have a rooting interest? Like, how did you view this thing? Because you know him, you love him, you want him to get paid. You're a former player. You also work for the team, and you want the team to spend on free agents, which it seems like is happening anyway. So how did you view this case?
Yeah, I mean, I want the players to get their due, and I want teams trying to win the World Series, right? So like those are two things that are aligned all the time. And what I love about Tarik, I was with him a couple of weeks ago with you guys in New York City when he got the Cy Young. He and I text quite a bit and have some banter that we go back and forth about. And it just has been separated from what we're doing. And so like, it's part of the business. It's part of growing up. It's easy to get hardened by the process of growing through, the pre-arb years to the arb years to the potential of free agency. And I've seen it in my day across when I was in Houston with a bunch of guys that now have gone on to make hundreds of millions of dollars. And what I love about Tarik is he's handling it like a true pro. Like he is getting his work in at 6:00 in the morning with Justin Wakefield and the boys in Arizona. He's scheduled his flight to come out here and join the group in Lakeland, and he's got the business aspect, going on in the background, and he's doing his part. So I was rooting for just dead straight communication and let it go where the process goes, while maintaining the culture and the idea that we have a kick-ass team. He's a huge part of it. We got to turn the off-season page into the regular season, and now we can, knowing that Tarik can pick up another bill or two.
I have a two-part. Yes, he definitely has to pick up the bill. I have a two-part based on what you just said. Have you ever seen anybody, and can you tell me who it compares to, as far as somebody who I've heard you say in other interviews separates the business and the baseball? Nobody does it better than Skubal. Who would that be that did it just as well or close to it? And we need to know what some of those texts sounded like on that thread between you two before and after the hearing.
So the guy that, a very similar situation was Garrett Cole in Houston in 2019. I mean, he was on the cusp of hitting free agency, and he now has turned that into a major contract with the Yankees. And he was a Cy Young runner-up, I believe, that year to Justin Verlander, who was also on our staff. So those two guys were huge in introducing me on like what that level of player and that level of star pitcher, what he goes through every fight. I think like as position players, it's a little bit of an everyday mentality that you bring your bat and your glove to work and you get to play. Pitchers don't. So those premium starts in those premium years are pretty unique, right? Like 32, 33, 34, hopefully 38 starts or whatever it takes to win the World Series. Though it's a little bit different for a pitcher than the position player who plays every day. So those two to me were huge. And the thing I talked to Tarik about after the hearing was, now are you ready to go, win the Central and try to win the World Series? And he was, in a few exclamation marks, was ready to go and we'll be down here this weekend. So my job in this as the manager is to continue to push him and continue to build an environment that has helped him at the very least thrive in being Tarik Skubal and being the dominant pitcher that he is. And so we get right to work. Fett's going to have a player plan for him on how we're going to continue to push him. He's been doing the bullpens. We're going to line up his work in spring, so he's ready for the when he leaves to go to Team USA for WBC. Like we're here on the field and in the trenches to like keep that environment conducive to success and winning, and he's all about it.
Yeah, you brought up the World Baseball Classic. Any concerns about him going there? I mean, it's just going to let him be and do what he has to do?
I think we all have concerns at the time of the year for all of our guys. I saw earlier today, I don't know if we're in the top 10, but we have 10, 12 guys who are going to the WBC, and they pick a lot of your good ones, right? Like we have a lot of good players on our team, but the pitching getting ramped up that fast. Like I love the theater of Ohtani versus Trout. And there's downside to potential what can happen. It's good for baseball, but the timing of it always makes us a little bit nervous. Now, I have video Skubal throwing like 98 miles an hour, Finnegan throwing 99 miles an hour. Like we have guys throwing live BPs today. Troy Melton, one of our young pitchers, is in town. Like these guys are getting after it compared to how we used to ramp into spring training back in the day. It was a little bit of a slower pace. So maybe less concern knowing that these guys are already at full speed, but it's a lot to ask. And you just don't want anybody on my team or anybody else's team to come back beat up.
Was there ever any concern about a particular team throwing their top 10 farm system guys, their best guys, to get rid of Tarik Skubal? I mean, were you ever concerned about that? Because I know there's a bunch of teams that would do probably anything to get a pitcher like that.
Yeah, I think the thing, it's obviously flattering when you can upgrade every single team. Like he literally, like I said, there's tons of good pitchers, Skeens and Crochet and Wheeler and guys that are amazing pitchers, but Tarik Skubal, it walks in the room and it's a huge presence. And so I always took it as like, I have the best job in baseball. I get to put Tarik Skubal on the mound, in San Diego on day one, and as many times as we can get him on the mound and get as many wins as we can. So obviously you try to stay away from the rumor mill, and of course people are going to express interest. Tarik Skubal, like he people should want him on your team, but he's a Tiger, and I'm really happy that he was able to navigate all of this offseason with relative ease and a ton of class, and ultimately get focused on next season.
All right, one last Skubal question for me. You said your job as the manager and coaches is to motivate Tarik Skubal. What's one thing that motivates him? Some guys it's candy, other guys it's contracts. What motivates him? And I've seen you navigate it with bad players, and I've seen you navigate it with elite Hall of Fame players.
So he needs feedback. Like you can't BS this dude. Like he needs, like when you take him out of the game and maybe he's had a rocky start, which it happens like 2 or 3 times a year where he's just not quite feeling it or not quite punching out the world or whatever. Like he wants you to kind of punch him in the face and tell him that he stunk that day, or you didn't like the way he did this, or you didn't like the way he needs feedback. And so motivating him is hitting him, dead straight with the information that you have and what you're doing and what the expectations are, why you're doing what you're doing, and getting him into his routine and his process. So I love that about him, because like there are times where you want to pat him on the back and just hand the ball to Will Vest, or hand the ball to Holton, or hand the ball to Finnegan or Kenley, but and protect a little bit of what Tarik is all about. But he needs feedback, and that to me is the biggest fuel for him on getting him back into his routine for the next start.
Okay, we're going to go to a different pitcher, and I know I mentioned him earlier. And AJ, I've been in media for a minute at this point, and I know how to dance around this perfectly. I know how the rules work to a T, okay? So you trust me on this one. Tell me about your thoughts of Framber Valdez as a pitcher. Give me the scouting report, what you like about him. You're allowed to talk about any player in baseball. We're not talking about money or business. We're just tell me how you view this player on the field and your experiences with him off the field.
Yeah, he's tough to beat. He does a lot of things that we love here, right? Like he pounds the zone. He gets the ball on the ground. He doesn't give up homers. He puts in the innings, but not just innings, but quality that come with it. And so the fact that he's been able to post year after year and continue to perform and continue to keep the ball on the ground and continue to evolve and adapt with it. He's got a ton of really good pitches. It's not sort of a one-trick pony. So I love what he brings to the mound with them. And we beat him a couple of years ago in the playoff game in the wild card series, specifically because we tried to just take away what he does best, which is try to get you to launch and try to get you to pull the ball. And he comes back for more the next go round. So I had him as a young player. I respect him. I trust him. I know that he can, that he wants the ball and he wants to be great. That's one of the things that I learned about him early on. And, I'm looking forward to the resolution of this, obviously. And there's no secret that he's a major upgrade to any team and would be an upgrade to us.
How do you navigate a player who has that energy, that fire, and then has the situation where, with Cesar Salazar, you being an ex-catcher, getting crossed up or not getting crossed up, how do you navigate that with a player with the relationship that you've had with him, with that type of player in your career?
Yeah, I take it back to like when you and I were together, I know you know me, and like we both want like direct communication, right? Like there's no dancing around anything. Like when you came on our team, you in Houston when I had you, you knew your role, you knew what your situation was, you knew that the game is always a little bit unfair, especially to us backup catcher types, and you're like, but you just wanted information, you want feedback, you want like be dead straight with me. Hey, shoot it how, what do you think? And so that's how I handle all these situations, which is like I look you in the eye and tell you what I think, and you're going to look me in the eye and tell me what you think, and then we're going to find common ground on whatever happens and what you're going to do about it. So to me, finding a path to understanding each other and each other's perspective goes a long way in conflict, whether it's this situation or any other situation. And that's the communication art that comes with, being in the clubhouse 24/7 and being around all sorts of different type of players who are motivated differently or communicate differently or have different thoughts. Like, give them the floor, man. Give them a chance and rely on that trust that you build over time in the game that good things can happen moving forward.
Is there a concerted effort in spring training for your team to score runs differently than you guys did it last year? Because you weren't able to bring in the massive offensive upgrade is what everybody's going to talk about, but you still have really good hitters. But you guys did strike out in the second half. You guys didn't score as many runs. Culminating in the final game of your season, went for a lot of innings and you didn't score runs. Is there going to be a concerted effort to do something that is maybe just a minor tweak that makes a major adjustment?
Probably. I mean, we're always going to look for more. I mean, we did score the most runs in Tigers history for the last decade, like last year. Like, we have a good team, we have a good offense. So I know we had a really tough stretch, towards the tail end of the season. And then when you do it that way, the narrative seems to run in the other way a little, maybe too far. Like, we were a top 11 offense, I believe. We were top 10 all year until the very end. And the swing and miss got us. Some of those games in the playoffs, that pitching we were facing wasn't terrible. They're pretty good. And so, these long games against the best teams aren't necessarily an indication on whether you're a good offense or not. And we need growth and development. We need to cut down on a few of the strikeouts, of course. But we also see some emerging players who are probably going to be a little better than they were last year based on how their off seasons have gone. We're going to continue to chip away at being a tough offense that hits the ball hard in the air. We need to pick the right pitches. We need to, obviously, ball and play is going to be key for us, but our players deserve credit for what we actually did, not necessarily how we did it. But we have a good team, and we were one of the better offenses for the vast majority of the season. Just doesn't feel like it when the season ends the way it is. The lead ends the way it does. The playoffs ended in a 15-inning grueling, just score me one more run and we're playing in Toronto. Totally get it. But that doesn't mean that we were a colossal bad offense that can't score.
Two youngsters that are going to big league camp, Kevin McGonigal and Max Clark. Talk to me a little about them, and where do you see them, fitting in this 2026 year?
Yeah, I just saw them today. So it's Friday before a Wednesday pitchers and catchers, which is then another 4 or 5 days until position players report. And those two kids are here in Lakeland. They were taking live BP off a couple of our pitchers. So that's a good start, right? If you're going to come to camp that early and get after it, that's pretty impressive. So I love these kids and the energy they bring. And, the reputations are obviously out there. There are no more secrets anymore when it comes to these prospects. They get a ton of attention, a ton of love, and deservedly so for what they're doing. So I got to get them to be themselves this spring. Like, the guys we brought to camp are the high energy, high performers, guys having a good time. They're good baseball players. They're going to walk into a major league clubhouse and maybe a little bit more nervous than they've been before when you look over and see Glaber and Javi and Kenley and Tarik and Jack and the boys. But I got to get those guys comfortable, with this group of players, and then see what they can do. I mean, the better you play, the more you play. The better you play, the faster these timelines get going. And so there's a little bit more increased pressure on these guys to show up and be good because of the attention they're getting. But I just want them to soak up our environment, our culture, the continuous learning, the hang with the boys they've watched play in the playoffs, and see if they fit in, see where they fit in, and see what they can do to help contribute to a win. That's like a productive camp. And both of those two guys, along with a handful of other prospects who are with us, will make an impression for sure.
You're not a scripted person at all, but the day one meeting when everybody's in town, pitchers and catchers show up, and you're like, I'll talk with you guys when pitchers and catchers show up.
Yeah.
is your meeting, is your speech after you introduce all the assistants to the general manager, to all that stuff, is your meeting going to be over or under 2.5 minutes? Because we're betting right now on the national anthem for the Super Bowl. So is your meeting and your speech going to be over or under 2.5 minutes?
Over. It'll be over, but it'll be under what people think. But it'll be over because I got a few things I want to show them too. There's a video component of my first day that I want to show them something. So that's gonna take up probably 2 of those minutes, and I got a few extra things to say that may take me over the 30 extra seconds.
Can you give us a sneak peek of what the video is?
No, the only person I share it with is my friend right here, Ty Cobb.
I was gonna ask Todd if he knew who that was. Dang it, that was my last one.
That was the last question.
Well, you didn't think I knew who that was, dude? Come on,
I
man.
know you didn't know who that was.
Here we go.
Hey, I got to bring this story back to light. So this is in my office in Lakeland, and it's cracked. You can see there's a little cut. Do you guys know that story of how it was damaged?
No.
So as legend has told me, now I wasn't there, but as the legend has grown, none other than Jim Leyland did not love the way that his team was playing at one point, and apparently a spike was thrown at Ty Cobb. So I'll try to confirm it again this spring when Jimbo comes down to spring training. But he
was it shaved down too?
No, this picture's been in this office for probably since this place was built. But Jim Leyland has his fingerprints all over it.
That makes it more valuable. It's a Ty Cobb photo in the Tigers facility, and it's got the Leyland component.
Oh my
God. Right, I've got one more for you. I don't want to say it's hard hitting. I just wanted to get your take on this overall. WBC, you've got Javier Baez. Recently, we learned he can't play because of a marijuana suspension, which does not exist in baseball. And I'll say you don't have to, but many players go that route. So your thoughts on Puerto Rico? I'll kind of spin it that way too. They've really gone through it. And as just a fan from the outside, that's the game that I play. It sucks because they're missing so many guys. And it's just, you're getting one story after another with this team not being able to put their best guys on the field. So what do you think about it?
Yeah, I'm bummed because I want our best players across all of these countries to be represented. And that is such a fun team. You know, I grew closer to it. I had Alex Cora on my staff in Houston. Correa was obviously there, and you know, I've gotten to know Lindor over the years. I hear I manage Javi, and Joey Cora and Juan Nieves, 2 of my staff members, are going to be on that coaching staff. And that, to me, that's the environment that is so fun about our sport. And so I listen, I don't have to pay out the contracts and the insurance and all that stuff, but I love the when you see the passion that's played amongst these countries. And I do encourage guys to play when they can, when they're healthy, and when it all, you know, check mark every box you have to, because it's unique. I got to play in the '96 Olympics. It forever is a memory in my life, putting USA across my chest. And Puerto Rico, for me, such a rich history, especially this year with Carlos Beltran getting in the Hall of Fame. Like it, you know, it's going to be missing something by not having you know, their best team available to them. And it's the nature of the rules. I get it. I don't have to pay it out, but I'm going to miss it.
Yeah, I'm with you. I know you're just a huge fan of the game too, and you'll be keeping an eye on those while you're running spring training, right? You got the nights to watch WBC. So yeah, that one hits when I just see the names racking up. I'm like, damn, like Lindor, Baez, Correa. It's just, that team could shock the world, right? So
no doubt.
AJ, you're the man. Thank you so much for joining us. We really enjoy this. Appreciate it before things get really crazy for you. And you'll see some of us in camp. I think Przinski's got your camp. So the AJ battle, you'll see him in a few weeks. Okay.
Orlando, you know, he doesn't stray too far out of Orlando, so I don't blame him.
Exactly. Easy commute for him to Lakeland. So thank you, AJ. Enjoy the weekend. We'll talk to you soon.
See ya.
See ya. That's AJ Hinch joining us on FT. He also was on Tiger territory the other day, and I mean this when I say this about AJ. He is just one of the best with access. As you can tell, if you haven't heard an interview from him before, you get it straight. He tells it to you straight. It's so good. So there's a lot more Tigers specific. I know some of you Tigers super fans in the chat right now want it, or maybe you've already caught it. But AJ did a great interview the other day with Kieran Steckley and with Cody Stavenhagen. Check that one out on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. I thought this was fake, but it's a real story. Javi Baez can't play in the World Baseball Classic. Why? Because he smoked a little weed in 2023 or an edible or something that like half the league has done. I'm like, what? And wait, blame game here. I was doing homework during the show because some of our fans let us know about it. I thought I saw something on Twitter, X, whatever, and thought it was fake, right? Because there's plenty of fake stuff out there. And then, fans are telling us, and they're great, and they know. And then I start researching it, and yes, he has been denied, suspended from 2023. And it's a suspension that lasts through this World Baseball Classic. So he cannot participate for, wait for it, the team that is getting screwed over and over again. Puerto Rico, no Javi Baez, no Francisco Lindor, no Carlos Correa, probably no, or Jose Barrios isn't on there, right? No, tons of guys missing from that roster. It's bullshit. This one probably tops it all. MLB and the Players Association, for the most part, run the World Baseball Classic, but they have to go through the federation that runs this, like the World something federation that Kratz's nerdy brain probably knows more about, so he'll fill us in. Apparently, both sides, MLB and the PA, were trying to figure this out, and federation was like, Heisman, no, sorry, I know it's legal in many spots and half the league uses it, but he's not allowed. No. And that's a terrible look. Like if I'm MLB and the Players Association, Kratz, I'm like, okay, well maybe we're gonna have to run this tournament differently from now on. Like how is this federation still doing this shit?
Because this is I'm just gonna be careful. I'm not afraid of Major League Baseball. I'm afraid of WADA. I'm afraid of the World Drug Association. So I'm afraid of them. But I love that our producer or director named it In the Weeds. And we're talking about weed. I love that. Thank you on a Friday. I needed that. And the other thing, Scott, it's over half. We used to play this practice. We used to play this go through the team. I'm not one of the guys that partakes in it. It's my choice. I'm not judging other people, but we used to say, how many guys, edible or smoke weed? I'm like looking around. I'm like, that number's higher than 50% on every team I played on. Just saying.
No, and he's not wrong. He's not wrong, depending on what team you're at. But, yeah, they don't mess around. They do pop-up drug tests. I mean, it's like the Olympics.
That's fine.
You see all the time these people get up. They got popped for marijuana. Not allowed to do the Olympics after 4 years of training your heart out and trying to work your rear end off to be in there. And then you get popped for having a little marijuana in your system. I don't know. It's a tough one, but, it's legal in mostly every state, too, in America. It's hard.
Steroid test, cool. Go for it, of course. We're all for all that kind of testing.
Some people have medical, they need it for medical uses too. So I don't know much about it. Again, I don't want to dive deep into it, but yeah, you gotta understand that this is legal, but it's not legal when it comes to these federations.
I'm not fighting for the drug. I don't care. I'm not a weed guy. I know sometimes when I'm in the other studio I'm in, people will be like, is Scott high all the time? I'm like, no, my eyes, the way the camera looks at it, sorry, but I do not smoke. It's not my thing. But come on. If MLB still had it as a thing, it's like, all right, I understand what's going on here at least. But it's not a thing in MLB. So now you're asking all of these MLB players to switch their lifestyle for this. I'm sure many of them didn't even know about this. And again, if we're going to do the weed game in the World Baseball Classic, then we're not going to have a game. We're going to have the straight edge baseball classic. They're not going to be many people in there. Are they allowed to drink? Can they have a beer? Where does it stop?
Yes, you can.
Oh, they can? Okay, cool. But this one's tough because Puerto Rico, I mean, you haven't been on for this part much, but dude, Puerto Rico is getting just drilled with the insurance stuff. And I'm just saying it's a top 4 team in the classic. So it's like, cool. Maybe Mexico or Venezuela can upset a team or two, but otherwise, is this just the U.S., Japan, let's just watch them in the title game because Puerto Rico
Dominican.
can do some damage.
No.
Oh, sorry, Dominican too. My bad, DR. My bad. But still, Puerto Rico is one of the top teams. They can make noise. They finished very high up in this tournament in the past. And to me, my boiling point was before this with the insurance with some of the guys. Now I'm way past it. I'm like, one guy's booted. Of course, he's a guy who could be pretty valuable in the Classic.
He steps up in these Classics too, with his swing. And I don't know exactly where they're playing, but if they play one of those high elevations and he gets that ball in the air, he can hit 5 homers in 2 games. So, yeah.
They're playing in Puerto Rico.
Oh, they're playing
in Puerto Rico.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they don't get to watch any of their
sticky.
stars. Think about the dudes that are missing, like that are the staples.
Yeah, they
I mentioned it before. It's Lindor, it's Correa,
it's trouble.
it's Baez. It is trouble. It's bullshit.
You want to see the best of the best play.
That's where I'm at. I'm so pissed. I'm so sad for Puerto Rico. All they've been through in the last 5 years, the country loves baseball, and they've had to rebuild after that massive hurricane. And like, this is something that brings the country together, but it also shines a bright light on the country of Puerto Rico, the island that doesn't get a lot of love in this sense. You have Carlos Beltran going into the Hall of Fame. That's a massive day. You have Todd and I both played in San Juan, Puerto Rico, in Ponce, and I forget the other city in Puerto Rico. And we got to play at Roberto Clemente Stadium. Like, there's a lot of history for baseball in Puerto Rico, and they got to host it this year. They get to host it, and like, these games are going to be on TV, and for them to not have their best countrymen out there, I'm sad for it. I'm sad for how it's played out. I'm not saying it's fair or unfair. I'm just sad that the best guys don't get to play. And it's only going to continue because we had Miguel Rojas on the other day, and anybody over 37 years old gets denied of insurance unless they change the rules coming up. And I'd have to look at where guys are in their age, but if you're 34 this year, you're not going to be able to play in the next WBC. And it sucks because these guys were going to get to play at home. If you've never been to winter ball, and I'm not saying this is winter ball, this is a step up from winter ball, but winter ball, they just want to see their team. They want to see their countrymen play. They even love it when foreigners come to play. I never played in Puerto Rico, but I played in the DR. They want to see it. And it's super important.
Yeah, and I hope they fix it next time around. And there are fixes. We've gone over it already. You can get other insurance coverage, not even just the player, the federation, the league, whatever. Everybody together could do that. But it is what it is. We'll talk more about it as it'll be the top storyline during the Classic. Let's get to our next guest, a familiar face for Todd Father.
Yeah, I just saw him. It's my guy now, bro. Man,
That's right. Ryan Weathers joining us right now.
You got the same hat on yesterday.
New Yankee. Bring him in. You know everything. He already knows all the answers to the test.
No, I'm going to bring up the same question. First question I asked him yesterday. First off, good to see you again, Ryan.
Good to see you.
Did you get a workout in today? You all fresh, ready to go?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Right.
We've been grinding at the facility, so we're all good now.
All right, good. So I'm bringing up the same question because I think everybody needs to know how athletic your family is, from your mother to your 2 sisters to your brother-in-law. Explain everybody.
Don't forget his dad.
Forget his dad.
Wife.
Forget about him.
Yeah, we ain't gonna talk about it.
We ain't gonna talk about. Dave can chill out a little bit, but we all know about Dave, but explain to us what your sisters, your mom, your brother-in-law do or are doing, and how you're the least athletic of the family.
So my mom played hoops at Belmont University. My oldest of my younger sisters, she's playing hoops at Alabama. They just beat Ole Miss last night, top 20 win. My youngest sister plays basketball at Freed-Hardeman, NAIA school in Henderson, Tennessee. My wife played at the University of Florida in volleyball. She played Team USA when she was younger. She was I think the #1 recruit for volleyball in 2018. Her oldest brother played college basketball at Anderson University, and her younger brother plays basketball for the Charlotte Hornets. And then her dad played basketball at Wofford, and her mom played basketball at College of Charleston.
Golly, that is some. I can't even. Well, first of all, Todd interviewed Ryan just last night for the Yes Network. So that's what Todd Father was talking about. But where do you rank in there? Because Todd said you're the least athletic. Where do you rank in there? And what sport do you go to if you have the Weathers Family Olympics that you're like, okay, I got a chance here?
I mean, I would say my wife and my sister Alabama are by far the two most competitive. They both got all the jumping ability. That skipped me, so I ain't got any hops in me. If I got to pick a sport, I'm gonna play golf. Most of them can't pick up the club, and then I know I can beat my dad every day of the week. So,
well, you can beat your dad. Does he know that? And that's why you rub it in?
Oh yeah. They build Walmarts in between our drives, so tough day.
Good.
I wish we had a split screen of him on here too, because there's some stormy weathers stories that I heard from other guys that were rookies. Like your dad's much older than I am, but my generation of players came up as rookies when your dad was on the team, and some of the things that he did to some of those guys are epic. Like, can't even talk about on here. So we won't get to that. We won't get to that. But what was this trade like for you? What was this opportunity? Not opportunity, but more, how did you come to find out about it? How soon was it, like totally out of the blue? Did you think there was a chance? Did they give you an inkling? Anything like that?
Going into the off season, obviously, like any player is available for, whatever the team wants or whatever they need. Once Cabrera got traded to the Cubs, I really thought that, I was going to probably stay put. I love Miami. I love the Marlins. Kim and G traded for me in 23, for lack of better terms, when I wasn't throwing the ball really well at all. And Miami really gave me a shot to, at least get my feet wet. I know I haven't been healthy super long. But they really allowed me to get my feet wet and learn myself as a big league pitcher. So I always love the Marlins, and they always hold a special place in my heart. But yeah, the trade definitely caught me off guard. But the opportunity, you get to play for the Yankees. The pinstripes are the most notable pinstripes in all of sports. I can't wait to pitch at Yankee Stadium. I love all the guys here. The guys have treated me awesome. I've been down here for about 3 weeks in Tampa, and literally almost the whole team is here. So that just speaks to the culture here, and I'm super excited.
I want to talk a little about your arsenal here a little bit. You have a lot of really good swing and miss stuff. You throw a really nice fastball and good off speed, but are you trying to tinker a little bit, maybe with a little two-seam fastball action to get that little bit more strikeouts so you can get cooking there? I know as a starter now, you could tinker with a few things and get away with it.
For sure. I'd kind of throw a traditional runner. I would say my changeup's kind of my go-to, so I don't want to throw a one seam or a two seam that gets in that area. Like, I want it to stay its own separate pitch. So I'm just working on to lefties, throwing a little runner that can get in on the hands, kind of be at that belt line, just to kind of split the plate in two with the two in the sweep. Knowing that I have the four at the top and the changeup below. With the Yankees, we're tinkering a little bit with like a little small slider. I threw it, as you can see right there, about 4% last year. I just need to get a little bit more depth on it to get below a barrel to righties, and I think we'd be in a good spot.
Have the Yankees talked to you about that? Because they have the lab down there in Tampa, and have they put you through some of those things, or are you still at kind of like, hey, once you build up to a certain point, then we'll really start tinkering with that? And if they did tinker with it, what does that look like for you? Is it hand placement? Is it extension?
It's just all hand placement. We're working on the bullet slider. We have the colorful baseballs where we draw for the fastballs, we have the Sharpies on each side to see your four seam spin. We have sweeper spins. We have bullet slider spins, changeup spins. So I throw with them. Honestly, now I've never thrown with them, and I almost make every single throw outside of pitching on the mound with a baseball that has colors on it, so I can see the spin of my ball, which is super helpful. So yeah, we're in the lab right now. I got a 1 inning live tomorrow. I've been down here for about 4 or 5 bullpens, a couple up downs, and everything's been going really well. Getting my four seam to the outer lane for righties, which is really huge for my arsenal to really establish the away lane. I haven't been too good of that in my career, especially the last couple of years, especially last year. So the more I can get to that outer third, I think it will help my arsenal a lot.
You have to explain the colored balls because, and I also want to go to your live and who you're going to face, but explain the colored balls to people who don't understand. This isn't pitching ninja, so not all of our fans necessarily know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, so essentially you just color for a four-seam fastball, you would color the train tracks on each side, and when you throw it as the ball's in flight, you can just see if the on each side if they're spinning just consecutively like that, you know that your four seam's in a good spot. But sometimes if you don't click a four seam, that spin will get a little wonky and the lines won't be as defined. So essentially just in ball flight, you want to see the consecutive revolutions of the fastball, the breaking ball, the changeup, and you want to see those colors on whatever side they may be on to just be as obviously you see them as much as possible.
Yeah, so it's like the most genius hack on a baseball that not everybody thinks about because some people are just worried about throwing strikes. Who are you going to face in your live? You said you're throwing a live tomorrow, right? Or you just threw a live?
We're gonna find out tomorrow. I'm not sure who I'm facing yet, so I'm excited.
You know who's in camp. So who's in camp?
I know everybody already in camp. I mean, there's gonna be a couple guys I'm gonna have to step on it live one, but I don't know who I'm facing yet.
Who do you want to face? Because that's what live and everything, like, you're kind of testing yourself. You're not going live because you're like, I'm just trying to feel it out. To me, I think that's kind of like a soft approach. You're joining a new team. I watched an interview the other day. Your manager said, out of everybody, I'm really impressed with Ryan Weathers. Like, I'm really impressed with the way he's throwing, the way he looks, best shape of his life in camp, like that whole thing. But who do you want to face that, like, sets that level of competition for you?
I mean, the obvious one is Judge. I mean, he's the best player in the game, one of the best players in the game. You know, it'd be nice to face him when numbers aren't on the line and we're on the backfields. It's a little bit different when you're facing him at Yankee Stadium and you're on the opposing team. But, I mean, the lineup's great, just guys like that. Obviously, I'd love to face some lefties just to work on the two-seamer. But probably Judge, that'd be a good one.
No doubt. And I think you'd want to face, even though you faced a bunch of those guys before, but it's a little different when you're on the mound and nobody's watching in the backfield or wherever the heck you're doing it. It's like, here we go, mano y mano. I want to talk about your haircut here, man. I didn't get to ask you last night. Is there a reason why you got a fresh haircut?
We got nothing back here now.
Wow.
Was that wifey telling you I need a little shape up here, or what do you got?
Dude, I've been hurt the last couple of years. I was like, I'm just gonna change it up and go short hair, and hopefully it helps me out. But also, I want to honor the Yankees rules, and I know that they've been clean shaven and short hair. I know that might not be the rule now, but I just feel like it, to honor their code, and I'm just excited to be a part of this organization, and I'm gonna do whatever I can to help them out.
I bet if you're not pitching well, you're gonna get that beard going a little bit. The hair's gonna start coming out. I'm just saying. Feel good, look good, play good. It all goes inside. But, hey, you know what? You said you want to change it up a little bit. You only had 8 starts. The biggest thing, nobody's ever said, man, Ryan Weathers' his stuff stinks. It's always the H word, health. How are you going to change that up? Because that's like the age-old question. You make 32 starts. You are going to absolutely be one of the top dudes on this team, even when Fried and Cole and Rodon are all back healthy. How are you going to change that up? And I know that's an off-season goal for every player, but especially a guy like you who's had some issues.
For sure. One, I just, the Lord's already blessed me. If he sees fit that I stay healthy, then, that's his plan, and there's nothing I can do to change that. But at least on my side, I've really changed a lot in the weight room. My issue is not as much working hard as is working smarter. So just not going in there and loading up a bar on my back and lifting or deadlifting, whatever it may be. I've really switched up a lot. And with the Yankees too, Erik Kratz is one of our head guys on the strength side. We went through a movement assessment and just determining that, some spots that I'm lacking in, whether it might be, my posture or anything like that. So we're changing that up. And then, the last couple of years, it's been weird. Like I can pitch through some like nicks and bumps. I've just had a couple just weird injuries where like I physically just cannot pitch through them because I want to pride myself on being available and being able to pitch. But I've just had a couple injuries where they've been honestly minor, but to the point where I can't pitch. Obviously with the finger injury in 2024, nobody would ever think that my injury would have been a rock climbing incident injury. That's the only injuries that happens in is rock climbing. And that's something that keeps me out for half the year. And then last year, just the weird day that we had in Tampa with getting hit in the back of the head. And then in the third inning, just not feeling normal. That's just something that you can't prep for. But I'm going to try my best to keep my body in a good spot where I can perform on the field.
Take us to that time when you got hit from the catcher on the throwdown. Like one of my buddies got hit in almost the exact same situation, and he thought somebody threw a ball from the stands. How much did it surprise you in the sense that you were like, oh my gosh, what just happened?
Oh, I mean, it's definitely weird. It stinks too because Fortes, now he's with Tampa. That's one of my boys. Like, he's my dog. Like, we go to breakfast and lunch together. He's like still in between innings. Like, dude, I'm so sorry. I'm like, you're going to have to let it go. Like, I'm fine. But it's so weird. You just like, I think what people that don't understand is like in any sport, like once you get thrown off, like what you're doing, like I was locked in, ready to go. And something like that just drastically just, shakes you and you try to figure your way out. It was just weird, obviously not waking up, but rolling over and you're in a face full of dirt. That's kind of a little bit weird. But I was able to get up and pitch and, thankfully the ball hit me a little bit on the top of the head. If it would have been in the back of the head, it could have been worse, but, I don't have any lingering effects from it. I wasn't too smart with to begin with, so I think I'm all good.
All right, one last one here on the change from the Marlins to the Yankees. Now, I don't know if you were still active when the Marlins instituted the bench calling pitches, but as a pitcher, not just a pitcher, but your dad pitched in the big leagues. You've had a lot of pitching conversations. You were a national Gatorade pitcher player of the year. Like you have like an advanced knowledge of ball. How hard is that to adjust to, and would you rather have it called by the catcher than somebody from the bench?
For sure. I think like obviously it's different than anything you've done, especially in pro ball. I think the thing that you have to realize as the pitcher is like the catcher's calling the pitch anyways. I know it's like it's a bit different at first, but if it's getting called from the dugout, it's still just a pitch call. It doesn't mean that you have to throw that pitch or you can't shake. Like it's still, at the end of the day, it's still just a suggestion. So I think as a pitcher, like you still have to be prepared and ready to go and know if that's not the pitch you want, you have to know what you want to go to. So, there'll be like some kinks with it that will get worked out. I think it's just, we had a couple of young catchers to kind of get them, invest in the game and, they're hard workers, but I know you called and sometimes at first it can be, the speed of the game is a little bit different. And I think that they wanted to take a little bit off their plate and wanted them to focus on other areas, and that's fine. And so, but as a pitcher, you still have to be locked in on your scouting report and, ready to rock and roll.
Are you ready? Are you ready for the ABS? For everybody listening and not watching, I'm tapping my head. Will you challenge a ball or strike call on the mound, or has Booney already said, not for you, Weathers?
We haven't had any meetings about that. It's tough as a pitcher because we want everything to be strike. So if it's like up and down, I can like judge that better. If it's away and inside, catcher's hands are so quick, I have no clue. But I'll make sure my catcher is doing it over me because I want everything to be a strike.
It sounds like no pitchers are going to really get involved. Everyone we've talked to about this has been like, nah, I'm not touching that. Do we actually think that's going to be the case? Kratz, I mean, you're probably the best person. You think so?
Yes. I think the smartest, maybe some of the guys will try it out in spring training, but I think exactly what Weathers said, what Ryan said, like, bro, like you're trying to make your pitch and then you're like, did did he move that? Did he you're deacon, like the catcher's sometimes deacon the pitcher, not just the umpire. Like, that looked good.
Well, it's like, you know it as well, too. Like, if that box wasn't on the screen for a game, like, I bet 95% of the fans would have no clue that if that was a strike or a ball, and unless that box was up there. So it's like, we're the same way on the mound. Like, y'all make a pitch look on the outer half, and it's like, oh, that looked good. And then you go back on the iPad, and it's a ball and a half off the plate, and you're like, thank God I didn't rip a challenge there.
Yeah, no doubt. And that's, you don't want to rip a challenge away from the guy you're hoping to punch out tomorrow in Judgy. So that's good. All right, my last comment, I mentioned it about your dad doing some funny things. I won't mention what he did, but for you and your pops, they used to call your dad Stormy. For stormy weathers, you need to ask him about what he did to a man named Jason Standrich, his cup. Okay? It was a rookie, all right? If you know the story, then you don't even need to ask. Okay, good. I'm making a laugh. So that's it. It might be too vulgar to have on the show, but you already know the story, so we don't need to. Okay, good. Never mind then. That was my only comment.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, he's a sick puppy. That's all I got to say.
Wait, is this story anywhere to be found online? Like if I Google it with that? No, you won't find it.
No, you ain't gonna find that anywhere.
No.
It's one of those ones where we have like, this is a players show. Like, we like bringing the players part, but unless Stormy comes on, unless David comes on, your dad comes on, it's just one of those. Yep, we're all aware. We know what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't mess with him.
Oh man, I would love to hear some. He's probably done some stuff to you.
I hope not.
Yeah.
He said, "Don't mess with him." Prankster, locked and loaded.
Oh man,
that's good.
Tell Pops we all said hi, man. We love him.
Will do.
Well, thanks for joining us. Really appreciate it. You'll probably see too much of Todd Father this year, but we appreciate the time.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Have a good one. Thank you so much. That's Ryan Weathers joining us from the Yankees, moving over from the Marlins this offseason via trade. All right, let's keep it rolling.
Who's that guy?
You like the opens?
Who's the guy with AJ there?
That's Michael.
Stop.
Wow.
Mike
we
who?
might have to do a
Wait.
segment on Michael right now.
Mike who?
Michael Beer behind the
Oh,
scenes.
all right. Oh my God, you gave him some love. All right. Good for you, Mike. God bless your heart.
Made the show.
It took me by stormy. It was different.
Well, let's get to the Padres. There was a story 2 days ago about how the family court battle with the late Peter Seidler's widow and then the brothers and all of that kind of got settled to an extent so that they can keep rolling. Appears to be over. But here's the next layer that's important, more relevant. The Padres are for sale, and they're looking. And one of the big names that was brought up is the owner of the Warriors, Joe Lacob, who's owned the team since 2010. You know, the most valuable NBA franchise? It's a layup question. It's a layup question.
The Lakers?
No, I just said it.
Oh,
didn't they? At least
Warriors?
this article said the Warriors. Is that wrong?
I don't know.
I was guessing. I think they're the most valuable.
I'm not. The most valuable franchise in the league after winning 4 NBA titles.
At least, and these estimates, it all depends on what you sell for, right? But the estimates here, what is this, Forbes usually? 11 bill Warriors, 10 bill Lakers. Knicks are right behind around that number as well. But the point is, he built that franchise into a powerhouse. And sure, you got some talent around it. There's no doubt. But it takes more than that. There are teams with talent that can't figure it out. Our
takes a
sports
culture.
our sports had Trout and Ohtani on the same team. How'd that go? So anyway, initial bids are expected near the end of this month.
Wow.
And The Athletic is reporting that the Padres are seeking about $3 billion.
Oh, God.
$3 billion. Record sale in baseball is $2.42 billion. That's when Steve Cohen bought the Mets in 2020. So even if they fall well short of the $3 billion, there's a big gap between 242 and 3. So it looks like they'll get a number that is a record in the sport. Forbes estimates the team's worth right now at 1.95 bill. But
let me ask you,
they're asking for a little more, and I think they're going to get a little more.
Where does all that money go to?
That goes to the owner's pockets. You're saying like who in the family? No, it's split around.
Okay.
He left it to a bunch of them. That's what the fight was over. So it gets split up.
You just want to give me. You want to give me.
You want in?
A little bit. I'll take 5%.
You're not in. You're not in. I got word. You know, it's funny.
I'll take 0.5%.
They have this AI text thing that automatically already sent me. Todd's not in.
Sugar.
He's not in the front.
Yeah, man. I can make my own New Jersey Major League team.
Right yeah?
Yeah, well, that's actually part of the story, too. See, Todd and me are doing a bit here.
Yes.
People are worried that the team's going to move. And because remember, as part of this legal battle at one point, that was thrown out there by, I think her name's Sheil, the widow of Peter Seidler. That's not happening. Okay. I'm not going to act like I know everything, but that sounds like legal BS. And this article from Dennis Lin in The Athletic helps to confirm that even if someone like Joe Lacob buys the team, despite his ties to the Bay Area, he's not moving the team. The team would be in San Diego. The Padres are a powerhouse business-wise, so they're staying where they're staying. The question
he did move a team. He did move a team already. He moved his team.
The Warriors.
They left Oakland.
Right. I think this is a different situation.
It's a different
situation. Yes. I don't think he's moving
but
the Padres to San Francisco, by the way, is taken. They have a team. They're called the Giants. What fans want to know, long way of getting to this, what fans want to know is how does this affect me? And for me, Kratz, it always depends on who the team gets sold to. But if it ends up with a guy like Joe Lacob who has deep pockets, I think this would be a plus for Padres fans. They have had a really fun run. They haven't won a World Series, but I think it's a fun run for the Padres. They have become very relevant. I felt like they were much less relevant for a long time. Peter Seidler pumped money into this team and made it an entertaining ballpark experience in a variety of ways. That includes getting superstars, but it's not the only thing. He did a really, really nice job building this team up. And then once he's gone, that's when you usually have the issues. Someone else taking over that might not want it. It looks like this family has recognized that they're best to sell it and let someone else have it be their baby. So if it ends up with a guy like the Warriors owner, I don't know a ton about him, but I'd be pretty pumped if I'm a Padres fan because in the past year or so, they've had to pump the brakes a little bit on the way that they were spending.
Yeah, 100%. They've had to. I mean, when you hear the rumors, where there's smoke, there's fire. Where that is, you don't know. But with AJ Preller, he's never afraid of trying to win. I was there in 2016 in spring training, and they had to kind of take a step back. They did the whole Kimbrel out of their trade, but they still had some other pieces with Kemp and Upton. So there's been transition, but ever since then, it has been like, hey, we're here to win, and a new ownership's going to have to navigate a difficult time. They're going to have to navigate a difficult time, but I think the cachet, the street cred that they've developed in San Diego, now the only professional sports team, major professional sports team down there, is huge. And I think this next ownership's going to have to navigate a 38, 39-year-old Manny Machado, a 38, 39-year-old Xander Bogaerts, a post-PED Fernando Tatis. How's he going to age? They're going to have to navigate that. And I think an ownership that has had success in the NBA, it's just about building a culture. It's about building and continuing to build that culture. Can you win every year? No. If you have the drive to win every year, you're just going to give the fans a much better fan experience, which right now, I'm going to say the Padres fan experience, the actual game day experience, is the best in the game.
I'm not going to argue that. I'm not going to agree, but I'm not going to argue. They're definitely in the top. They're up there. It is a fun experience. Top 5, easy. I agree with you. With this Lacob guy, too, again, I don't know a ton about him.
I love that. This Lacob guy, like, you're just like,
this billionaire.
Just a billionaire.
He's tried to buy teams. He's tried to buy the A's, the Angels, and the Dodgers.
You know what I've been...
So does the league not want him? Is he going to be balling out too much? I don't know. What's the problem?
Stuff. I don't know. I've been watching Shark Tank lately.
Yeah.
And I don't know why I just got off this tangent, but my wife and I have been like on this kick, and the money and these money that people are just throwing out there, yeah, they're going to get over 1.95. And I don't care if it's the Padres or, the Hackensack Raiders. I don't care who it is. But listen, Brewster's Millions, it's Brewster's Billions. Watch out, man.
There you go. I just like how I'm ready for something, and he goes, I've been watching Shark Tank lately.
Man. They're talking about guy asked for $1 million the other day for 2.5% equity in the business. They're like, what are you doing here, bro? I can go on about it.
It's a fun show.
I would love to be on that and pitch something.
Todd, do you go after the show's over? Do you go and type in the name of the company to see how they did?
I try. Yeah, we've done it before. We were going to order something. We are going to order something, and then there was no company 3 years ago.
It's good. It's good when you watch an old one. I've done that. Yeah, that's what you're talking about, right, Kratz? When you watch an old one, and they're hyping it up like it is the next big thing in life, and it's like a 7-year-old episode, and you go, and it goes error 404, site doesn't exist.
Site doesn't exist.
And then the first thing that pops up on Google is how this company went into nothing after Shark Tank. It's not blaming Shark Tank. They're just saying like it didn't work out.
This guy needs to be on Shark Tank. But hey, I hope he wins it if that's what he wants. But I feel like it's going to be a lot more than 1.95.
It is.
Yeah.
They want 3. So there's a big gap in between.
They're still negotiating tactics.
It's going to finish as the top sale ever. It'll top the Steve Cohen one in my mind. Great for baseball.
They say owners don't make money. Man.
They don't. They don't. They're only going to get like $2.5 billion.
How do you?
There's a lot of
business
overhead.
is good. That's why we have a show.
Difference between profit and revenue. Okay, Scott.
Oh,
there's a.
I can't wait to learn all about that.
Business 101.
Yeah, we should get a guest on to teach me about that.
All
right. While we're on Business 101, the St. Louis Cardinals are moving off of the regional sports networks, FanDuel Sports Networks, which is run by a company, Main Street. Full disclosure, we used to be on that channel too, but that channel's in trouble right now. Yeah. So there was a report out there that the Cardinals were going to make like $40 million less this year in TV money. Katie Wu to the rescue, part of Dodgers territory, but also former Cardinals reporter for The Athletic. And she put out clarifying figures yesterday. She said Cardinals TV revenue expected to see roughly 40 mil under the MLB model, opposed to the roughly 60 they expected last year. Unlike set fees with FanDuel Sports Network, MLB broadcast revenue is based on subscriptions and ad sales. To me, I don't want to say it's like a sigh of relief, but 40 versus 2020, I'm like, okay. I mean, much more doable. Plus, they've gutted a lot of their roster in a rebuild, so they're not in trouble by any means in any way, right? They've got money to spend if they want it. They're going through a rebuild situation. I think 40 looks like a big number. 20, you're like, okay, that was more of what I would have expected them to go down from a money guarantee to more of a percentage model here with MLB, which, is, I will say, getting a ton of teams pretty last minute yet again.
Yeah, hopefully they don't screw this up. But here's one for you. They're going to get their money based on subscriptions, just like you get your money based on ticket sales. Why do people come to games? Because you're putting a good product on the field. So here's a mind blower. You want more from your TV revenue? Put a good team out there. Don't gut your whole team. And I know the Cardinals have to gut their team because that's the route that they're going. I like Heim Bloom, all that stuff. But gee, if everybody goes to a subscription, who do I want to buy a subscription to? Oh, the Cardinals? Yeah, they still have Lars Nootbaar and Alec Burleson. Maybe I'll wait till next year.
Mason Wynn.
And Mason Wynn. And Jordan Walker. To me, I almost kind of like it. It's like, do you want to work hourly or do you want to work based on the business that you bring in? Because if you hustle, if you're a baller and you ball out, the business you bring in, you're always in sales, you're always going to make more than you are hourly. Or do you just want to kind of glaze along and just hope people buy subscriptions to watch your team play on TV? No, Cardinals fans, they're loyal and they are diehard. They love their team. But if you don't put an effort out there, blue collar people ain't going to come out. Just not going to happen.
I think a lot of Cardinals fans are okay with like a 1-year reset that's going on right now, where they're kind of clearing. No?
1 turns to 2.
You think they should have pushed chips in this year?
No. I'm just saying the Cardinals have never had to do that.
I know.
How many years? I mean, it's like a 20-year reign of the Cardinals. They've never had to do that. So I don't know if they're okay with it. They've had a winning team for so long that for me to say the Cardinals fans are okay with it, I'd have a hard time believing it. But hey, I hope Cardinals fans say, tell me, yeah, we're totally fine with it.
I'm just going off, the little crowd online that's like, hey, we need to reset.
Okay.
Reset.
I don't love it.
It's going to be a long year.
Yeah, it is going to be a long year. Hey, let's get to a trade. It was yesterday. We're not breaking anything crazy. Blaze Alexander of the Diamondbacks, now of the Baltimore Orioles. Perhaps a top 10 team in Todd Father's mind, to bring this show full circle. 2 minor leaguers heading back, including one who apparently is a stuff plus machine, Wellington Aracena. But it's a utility infielder for Baltimore, gives them a little depth. Sorry, the stuff plus monster is Cade Stroud, by the way. He was a top bullpen candidate for the Orioles. So that one actually made me a little curious. Do they know something that we don't? Because if I'm Baltimore and I want to compete again this year, you got to have a money bullpen. To me, Kratz, I know we talk a lot about their starting pitching, and I'm sure they're going to sign someone. It might not be the someone that fans were dreaming of. There could be some concern with the bullpen, too. I think everybody's looking at the team right now like, this offense should bang. This should be a top 5 offense in the sport. But the pitching is a question mark. So we'll see what the bullpen looks like for them.
I like that it's the Orioles and Diamondbacks, my two favorite teams to take the over this year, because both teams have massive questions in the bullpen. I mean, you're talking about an Orioles team that had, Danny Coulomb, who's been an incredible lefty. They had the Mountain, Felix Bautista. They had Yanir Cano. And now they have Helsley as their closer who, you hope he didn't take what he brought from the Mets over to the Orioles. You hope he's the Cardinals closer, and I think he will be, because the closer role is what got taken away from him when he went to the Mets. And I think he'll slide in there fine, but it's really going to have to be all hands on deck for that bullpen. But I love this for Blaze Alexander. I think this was one of the reasons that they were okay originally getting rid of Ketel Marte, not because he was going to be the starter, but because they were still going to be able to have Blaze bouncing around, and they were going to hopefully bring in Jordan Lawler. And anytime a guy is kind of like getting his feet wet in the league, I think he almost had like a 2 WAR last year as a utility guy, he was going to play a major role. So they didn't get rid of Ketel Marte. They still have Jordan Lawler, and they got Nolan Arenado. And it's like Geraldo Perdomo is going to play every day. So I love this for him and his career. How he fits into Baltimore, that'll be Craig Albernaz and those boys over there fitting him into the rotation. But anytime you get a utility guy that can play short, can play third, can play second, I hope it's a better situation for him. But they also have dudes over there that want to play every single day with Westberg and Gunnar Henderson and Jackson Holiday. It's tough to be a utility guy when the whole infield is young, and ain't nobody replacing Pete Alonso at first base. That man's playing 163 if you let him.
No, that's right. But he'll be a super utility, bounce all around. And even though it's crowded in Baltimore, maybe a little bit more of an opening when you look at Arizona. It's like those dudes are going to play every day. Again, health permitting, but they've got an everyday set over there as well. So we'll trade. We'll see what it looks like. And good call. Yeah, he was almost a 2-win player on Baseball Reference War. So I'm sure Baltimore was interested in that, intrigued by that. And good for Arizona to get a bullpen arm. Let's get to Leo. Over under, Marlins, BetMGM saying 72.5. Where are we going?
This is close. I don't think. I think they'll be under 500, but how far?
Big gap between 72.5 and 81 wins, which is 500. Do you think they'll fill in that gap? They traded away some pitching. They'll probably trade away more pitching in Sandy Alcantara, but they kind of surprised some people last year. They won 79 games this past season.
Oh, man, you guys put me on the spot here.
Why don't you just talk about Shark Tank instead?
Yeah, I know.
No,
listen, I'm gonna say under, but really close. I'm gonna say
under. Okay.
Wow. I think the NL East is a gauntlet. I think it's some really good squads. I want to see them win. I like the Miami Marlins. I like the organization. I like everything about them. But I would say closer to 70. I would say a little under 70 wins.
What do you like everything about them? What is the like about them? Like, I like some of the dudes on the team.
You're gonna speak up or you're gonna speak out? Let's go.
I mean, I like some of the dudes on the team, but that's why I'm taking the over. Is because I think this under's set way too low. I think if they had said like 74, 75, I would have been like, okay. They won 79 games last year. 79 games last year, and I think you sit there and you go, okay, yes, I get it. They got rid of their best pitcher from last year in Edward Cabrera, but that's what they've been doing. They've been pumping out pitching, and supposedly they have pitching galore coming from the minor leagues. I think this is a 74 to 6 win team. And so I'm taking the over. I'm not taking as big of the over as have taken, but I really like this one. I think they show that they can win games, and some of their position players have really taken the next steps, and you have another full season of Stowers. You have Augustine, Ramirez behind the dish. I love it, but I'm not putting any money on it because they could get rid of another pitcher. They could get rid of Sandy partway through the year. And I'm so nervous about it, but they could also win 13 games against the Nationals, who have done 0-0 this offseason.
Marlins have done just about 0-0 too. Don't forget about that. Remember the article in the beginning of the offseason from Evan Drellick about Marlins, Pirates, and there maybe one other. And yeah, the Pirates did a little bit more. Marlins didn't really participate again. So
Pirates did a lot. You can't even mention the same breath of the Marlins and Nats are completely bring that top 10 back, that bottom 10 back up again. They're all in there, and they earned it.
Marlins for me, slight over. I don't feel comfortable about it though, but I'll go slight over on that one. Yeah, 79 wins last year. Nationals are going to suck. See. But I mean, I think it could be a hook. I think it could be a 71, a 72, a 73.
Could be. Depending on what they do, trade deadline and all that kind of stuff. That's why I'm scared.
They're trading Sandy Alcantara at some point this year. So the rebuild continues. The biggest game of the year calls for a boost pack that's just as big. BetMGM is rolling out the Big Game Boost Pack. Gives you 3 different ways to boost the odds on your next big game bet. Here's how it works. First, log in, and your Big Game Boost Pack will be waiting for you. Next, add any big game bet to your bet slip. Activate the boost token you want to use. Finally, if that bet hits with a token activated, you get extra winnings on top of your payout. Gambling problem or concern, there's help. Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Talking BetMGM, Super Bowl Sunday picks real quick. I know nothing, but I'm just going to say Seahawks. You?
Yeah, man. I'm going against. I think people are putting the Patriots down. They don't think they're going to come through. I think they find a way to win.
Is Brady playing?
No, but Brady said he wasn't necessarily rooting for them.
He's not rooting for them.
That's why I want him to win even more.
Well, isn't it like Brady, Belichick, and
he got
the owner Robert
from
Kraft?
His old teammates.
I know.
Pissed. So.
Yeah. Well, they kind of made his life into a pretty cool life. So you'd probably want to be rooting for them. But he's a broadcaster now. You got to be neutral. Got to be neutral, Kratz. Who's winning the Super Bowl on Sunday? Where do I put my money?
Oh, who's winning it? I don't know who's winning it, but it's going to be heads. Is going to be the coin toss. I'm locking that in right now.
Heads. God Almighty! Don't listen to him ever on the. Tails,
I'm not touching that one. It's Too much risk.
Tails, Todd?
go to-
Okay. I'm easily swayed. I can go tails.
No, let's go. Let's talk about it. You want heads, I want tails.
We're going to do an hour
what are we
post
gonna
show.
do?
All right. We'll
Got
do
it.
3 to
I
4
got
after
heads.
this. We'll talk heads or tails. Let's
Got it.
slap. Congratulations to one of my favorite broadcasters. Buck Martinez announces his retirement. And, man, he's called a ton of games.
Great dude.
He is a great dude. He is so dialed in. He's a baseball lifer.
Yeah.
So congratulations to him.
I'm surprised they said that now. It's so kind of late in the year, in my opinion.
What do you mean?
I felt like maybe after the year ended, go out and, maybe, I don't know, all good. Either way, congratulations to Buck. Great guy, great person. We talk about Jersey all the time, man, his roots and everything. And he has an understanding of the game, which most broadcasters, well, some broadcasters don't, but he has this inkling of been there before, done it, and old school kind of fashion. And he's not afraid to tell it how it is. So you walk off into the sunshine and enjoy a little bit of beach time wherever you're going.
There it is. Kratz, I have a little special for you. Last thing of the day, just because Todd Father wants you to feel good about your weekend. I got this clip sent to me from a Sirius XM show the other day. Here it is.
And on that players only bus, there's usually a veteran player that gets up on the mic and either does truth or dare, true or false.
No doubt. It's actually a really important part of the team. You know what I mean? It's guys that they'll do, like Luke Maley was our mic guy last year with the Reds, or in 2024, and he just did a great job of debriefing the series. You know what I mean? In the lighthearted tone, like saying, hey, here's where we're at, and then let's go have some fun with calling up rookies, or like you said, truth or dare, or questions for bringing up guys and putting them on the spot. So he did a great job. I've been really lucky to have a bunch of great mic. Charlie Blackman in Colorado, awesome. You know what I mean? It was awesome. Matt Garza, when I first got called up, was a great one, but Erik Kratz was just next level for something. It was just unbelievable.
Yeah.
That's Brent Suter, by the way, who was saying all of that to Ryan Spielberg.
That's
there
funny.
He is. Glaze.
Get on the mic.
Have a glazy weekend, everyone. Glaze. Yeah.
What hat you got there? I got my hat on.
Oh, yeah. Kratz Hatz at the finish line.
This is a Yankees hat.
Oh, Los Yankees.
Todd thinks the Yankees are not top 10. So we were
from free agent wise, bro. Relax. Don't
no. That's what I heard. But that's why I used to get on the mic. I used to get on the mic, and I used to start it out by going.
Welcome to the Kratz Show. Thanks, everybody, for not sucking in the last series. Thanks, everybody, for watching Foul Territory. Bring it hard on Twitter, because you can't if you don't, so you better bring your card.
That was good. James Shields, the one I learned from. He was ridiculously good. Big game, James.
Wow. Big game, Kratz. We'll see you Monday.